2 grandfathers, 2 Saligs, and the Shaco so far. I mean, if you're playing like Heartseeker, Salig is actually quite useful at the start. Like it's actually a really good amulet. It's just that legendary amulets are just better with proper stats or whatnot. But at the start though, outside of that though, like, you don't really. I have to edit the stream title. It's not gonna let me do it, is it? No. Okay. There we go. All right, we're good on YouTube side now. Yay. You end up playing Windstrike's Paladin? Okay, not. I don't blame you. No love lost. All right, let's see what happened. Cause I felt a ton of it felt like a ton of lag. Like my stuff just wasn't casting. Like I wasn't able to cast anything. Okay, that's a lot better. Okay, I can move now. We also might have a special guest on tonight, later on tonight. I don't want to say anything too early just because it may or may not happen. It just depends. But you guys are still... That hurt. That's that whisper. I like the idea of running real because like the delayed attack on me killing enemies in front of me, not the ones that just pass by. That's fair. Okay, do I have Lord Zier? That's not it. This is the ancient seer, right? Yeah. There we go. Gotta say some of the most insane gear. Yeah, some of the most insane gear in your paladin is not even funny. I can't cast. That's weird. Oh, below. Any news on them actually fixing the T7 problem? I guess I call it problem, but like the we'll do gem fragments. Oh, I'll take a wood emerald actually. Oh, also hear that the bloody affix, what is it? The XP bloody affix thing is actually bugged. It actually gives you less XP by having that affix on it. From what I heard. which I actually think is quite hilarious. It's quite hilarious. Having that bloody affix right now is a nerf to your character. Or nerf to your XP. I wonder how good my character is on like a bloody hordes. A T3 bloody hordes sigils. I do have enough boss damage to kill enough butchers to make it worth. It looks like somebody already killed the boss. There's no boss up here. You haven't heard anything about the bugged T100 bloody sigils? Oh, okay. Yep, neither have I. But today's Sunday. Maybe we'll hear something in like a news post tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday. Okay, so this one is active. Looks like somebody's there. My heart. Alright. Any other whispers? Yeah, dang, not even a Helltide right now. Am I like right in between the Helltides, it looks like? Join request. He's been playing. I think I just need to do layer bosses. Chill. I don't really care about the XP as much as I care about getting items. I'm gonna start pushing because of the gear. I could probably do hit 120. And I would say I'm afraid because I don't want to let me out. I like that just doing T7 things. Yeah. Pretentious parents, dude. What's up, man? Where am I going? How have you been, man? Are you on spring break right now, or Raven? What's happening? Have you been playing at all this season, Raven? Or oh no, yeah, you have been playing. Speaking of which, do you have any Ascendus tributes? No. Like nobody but J-Rock is having, apparently. J-Rock has been hogging up all the tributes. Joe Breezy, what's going on, man? Bit of boiler. I just been kind of like taking it easy this season. Expansions is gonna change so much, and there's nothing really new, you know, for most of the classes. Ow. Oh, I dipped my toe in the fire, almost done. Gonna be honest though, like I am really tired of the butcher showing up though. Like I am over. I was over it after like on like day 2. Like I knew, like even on day 1, like as much as I saw him, I'm like I'm gonna be tired of this dude like by day 2, like easily. Good to get used to new difficulty. I mean, I wouldn't say that, because like the way that your gear and stats and stuff is gonna change, the difficulty is gonna feel different anyways. So it's not like it's gonna feel the way it does right now, because so many of the other stuff also changes. All the builds will feel different. How you play will feel different. How your gear feels different. Like your toughness will feel different. All that will feel different. And really, honestly, the new difficulty mostly kind of just it's mostly just a few classes able to kind of truly, you know, do it right. Like you're not really doing T7 bosses on like a rogue, for example, or sorcerer, for example, or even a druid. Maybe barb, I'm not quite sure, but like it's basically Spiritborn to Pally. So it's really not about whether or not you're doing anything better as a player, but more so about whether your class can actually do the thing. The Snickers can clap T7 with Blood Wave for 5 minutes. Let me rephrase that. I think all classes can technically do it. Right. I would say if it takes 4 or 5 minutes, that's it's not really like that. That just becomes pushing without the, I won't say without the rewards, but like you know what I'm trying to say. I mean, technically, Rogue could do it in about roughly that time frame too. But I really wouldn't consider that successful, if that makes sense. Engaging gameplay. I think it's engaging for like the first minute. If you're fighting something for 20 plus minutes, it's no longer more engaging after the first minute, because you're already doing all the mechanics already. So I think if it takes more than if it takes 4 to 5 minutes, like that's past kind of engaging. I think like a minute is like a good engagement in a sense. It's like you have to kind of think, you have to try. You can run out of potions. Like there is some danger, like real level of danger there. 5 minutes is just kind of, you're bored after the 3rd minute. Especially if your character like can tank it or whatever. You're kind of bored after the 3rd minute. How many tormentors are there? I mean, it's still 4. But have you read any of the patch notes yet or anything for the season, Junior? But the bloody keys can kind of go past that. So like it's still just 4 difficulties, but bloody keys kind of puts it at a quote unquote T5 level. But then if you reach pit 100 or tower 100, your keys go from T5 to technically T7 layers of difficulty or whatever. So T7 doesn't technically exist in the game, like as an actual difficulty you can pick. But the bloody keys can scale to what would be considered T6 or T7 or whatever. Does that make sense? The lag. Like right now, I'm doing T5 bosses. The video was posted in Necro chat. So Necros can. Like I said, like I said before, like technically every class can. I mean, if you killed in 45 minutes, then you technically did it, right? But people are probably gonna say that's not a viable option for that. Like paladins, they do it in like maybe like a minute, if that. Rudy was doing a T7 in front of Horror this morning with his paladin. Yeah. Paladins hitting for trillions of damage. The thing about it is actually like a T7 horde is doable on every class technically. You just won't be able to kill any butchers ever on some of the other classes in that time frame. Like you won't kill a single butcher on any wave, but you'll probably clear all the other stuff because they're not scaling nearly as high as, like, let's say the butcher is. Like the Inferno scaling for the butcher is like ridiculous. More so than any of the other modes. I feel like the enemies felt like T8. I knew that was gonna happen. I wasn't even thinking about Durio coming from the ground. I was just worried about the butcher. I forgot. Come on. And Raven, if you're still here, to think, man, have we had that mythic prankster key and did it in the right difficulty? Pretty sure I could have my Starless by now. Had to bring it. Oh man. Also heard it's only like one mythic now instead of like 5 edge drops or something like that. From what I hear, I could be wrong. Yeah, but that still would have been worth for sure. Cause who knows what that would have dropped for me. Bloodied. So I guess the thing is that like if it's gonna drop only one now, they totally could have let it just drop in like penitent difficulty. Like why does it matter at that point if it's just one? I can understand if it was like 5 still, like you know, it's like okay, they're gatekeeping it to torment, right? But for one, like what's the point of gatekeeping it at all? Here we got. Incognito, how's it hanging? Just regular farming, I guess. Not doing anything special. Actually trying to get a Sterlis. I am actively trying to get a Sterlis. These guys. But yeah. Then again, like I'm kind of getting things that like I'm not gonna like know what to do with once I get it, because I'm gonna be pretty much done once I do get it. So like the fun is chasing the thing that I'm not gonna do anything with once I got it. I guess. Does anybody have a Synesty tributes that want to run some in the party? We can set up some rotations for it. Had to FKQ, order food, I'm doing Heartseeker, but I feel wait. How far are you into Heartseeker? Like how much do you have already? Map perdition in all the aspects. Yeah. Just keep in mind that like, so like the push version, which is completely different from the mythic, you know, version, obviously, we'll have an easier time doing some of the bossing content for sure because it just hits a lot harder. However, like, I wouldn't T4 boss or anything. A T4 boss with Heartseeker until like you kind of have it fully built out on your mythic setup or whatnot. The correct runes and all, like cat or the Quack's rune, those kind of things. Like all those are like extremely important because Heartseeker isn't like OP, if that makes sense. It scales, you know, pretty decently, but it's like a, I'll put it this way, it feels like a balanced build, I guess you could say. Like, you know, once you have other pieces, it feels really good to play. But you're not going to be like, you know, just don't expect Paladin level type gameplay or whatnot. Or, well, sorry, Paladin like damage or whatever. So if that's what you're comparing it to, then yeah, like, you know, all classes are in the same boat. Yeah, Cersei and Aocax. You're critting for like 40 million. Should be a little, should definitely be a little higher than that. Could be your Shroud of Erathiel. Also, you don't have a Shroud yet, do you? Shroud of Starless guys. So you're missing 2 mythics. Actually, Air Perdition is the mythic that matters the least compared to the other two. Like Godslayer's Crown. In my opinion, I would probably use that over Air Perdition, in more cases than not. Because that pull really helps in like the pit and Infernal Hordes and stuff like that. But yeah, Starless guys and Shroud are big upgrades. All good. Trying not to pick up a lot of these items so I don't have to keep going to town all the time. Trying not to.
I forge more than horseshoes and nails. What do you need? My hammer sings on your return.
Alright, we got more keys. Actually, let me check my stash. How many more keys I got?
I'll keep my forge hot.
Actually, also, let me see if boss mass I actually have too. Actually, have a lot of flesh. Could run a non-bloody one. A lot. Yeah, do I need bloody bosses? I have plenty keys, but we can group up if you want, just for the sake of it. I mean, I'm being honest. You can look at your gear and tell me how how bad it is. Oh, you're on care to select. King Titan was out. The rogue run. Still waiting on a Stirless. Trying to get a Stirless. Because there are some things I kind of want to test too, so and I kind of can't test some things without a Stirless. Because of the Crown of Lucian and the buff and that it got. But I kind of need a Stirless to be sure about something, but past that, I mean, I'm just chilling. How's Rogue feeling so far? The same as last season. Nothing's changed on Rogue. All the new items don't do anything really. So all the builds exactly the same as last season. Gui, what's going on? I could do a little bit later incognito. I'm with Raven right now. No rush. I'll be on for a bit. Little guys don't do much then. I mean, it's just no, not really. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and say they help. Like they don't help. I mean, they do help a little. Pickle Bane, what's going on? Yeah. So I mean, they just don't change how things work. Like I mean, you can just read the affixes and realize that the affixes don't really change. They don't change how your build interacts or what they do. I mean, attack speed, you're still capped. You still get capped. Crit chance, you still get capped. Movement speed, you still get capped. You know, and then the thing that's like the best is the, you know, core stat. You know, percent dex or whatever. But like, that's just damage, right? And damage is not bad, but like it doesn't change the way your build functions. It's just a little more damage. So yeah, this season is just one of those things where like, you know, most things don't no, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm thinking if there's anything that really matters in terms of the stuff, but it really doesn't though. I'll just put it this way: like most class build, like almost the majority of the class builds, like 95% of class builds play exactly how they did last season. So if you played one class last season and you know what the builds were last season, it's the exact same this season, basically. Yeah, we're not gonna see anything better or new or whatever until the expansion. So, which makes sense, I guess. I mean, this is only like a what, like a half a season basically of a length. Expansion is so close. I didn't think they were gonna like do much with the season anyway. Yep, the season's a filler season. Play Paladin last season, Road to Season is not nearly as good. No class is nearly as good as Paladin. I hope no one was expecting that. Was anyone expecting any class to be as good as the DLC class? Like no class is close to Paladin, and that's intentional. It was like that when Spiritborn was released. It'll be like that when Warlock is like released. Like next expansion, like when the expansion comes up in April, be prepared for Warlock to be the strongest class by a pretty significant margin. Like, sure, we'll get, you know, new stuff on every class, and like every class will feel fresh, but don't expect the you know, anything to be balanced with like to Warlock. Expect the Paladin to be pulled back a little bit in terms of strength, and then Warlock kind of takes the, you know, Yeah, the new class I'm gonna but nobody's gonna buy. I would say nobody will buy, but like ideally you wanna create hype through word of mouth. Someone buys the expansion, they play the new class, they say the new class is awesome, and the way that people work, right? The way that people function is that it doesn't necessarily mean for a lot of people it doesn't matter if a class actually feels good to play or not. It just needs to do a lot of damage. So companies know that, right? Human beings is like, oh, lots of zeros, stuff dies real quick, class good, right? And so now if they tell their friends, yo, class is good. Well, how do I get class? Okay, well, you get class by getting expansion. Okay, well then you go pay money to get expansion. So in reality, Blizzard is only just playing, or companies is just only playing to our own, mentality, right? Like if it wasn't all about the damage, then it would be done different. But the way that we function in action RPGs is like, well, what deals the most damage? Oh, well, more zeros. Okay, cool. We add more zeros. People tell everyone else, and then they get their friends to play, and then rinse and repeat. So, and it works. Not just action RPGs, but literally like other games, any companies, new fighters, all those kind of things. Your niggas are getting a massive change. Yeah. Well, I assume. Well, yeah. I think Necros for sure because I feel like their class was, Necros felt kind of incomplete. For some time, so I can imagine. I don't like intentional classes being the class. Or being the A class. Yeah. 999, appreciate the follow. Yep, it's intentional. But you have to understand that, these game companies are basically, corporations at the moment, and the corporation's only job, the only reason a corporation exists is to make money. So whatever makes them the most money is basically what happens. So making the new DLC class and what you got to spend money for is exactly how they make the most money, and that's what happens. So I really don't expect like season 13 to be that exciting, outside of like the expansion being exciting, because we all know that Warlock is going to be busted like hell. So like season 14 and season 15 is when like we might have better class balance overall after people have bought the expansion. But until then, yeah, I guess expect Warlock to be better in every other class. Easy. I'm also credited, but does Opticite not exist this season? They have been pretty stingy with Opticite this season. Yes, strong rooms are still the best way to get them though. So strong rooms are the best way to get Opticite, and it gives 800 basically, which is a nerf because it was 2000. Even with the nerf, it's still the best way to get Opticite, with the tributes being 300 apiece. And treasure room, the non-bloody treasure room nightmare dungeon sigils give good Opticite as well.
I've been starting from nothing.
Should I use Strider Condos for Heartseeker because your guy saw different chest armor for Ancestral tab? No, just use a regular chest because it has maximum resource on it. So that maximum resource gives you damage. So a regular chest is better. Sigil powder nerf too. It feels like it. What's up, brother? May I ask a question? How is it possible to make cursor image and game yellow different color. It should be under gameplay settings. Would it be open? I don't know I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I didn't open anything, so unless you open something. P-Whiff? Yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah, so I'll show you real quick. So you go to options and under graphics, it should be the first thing. You don't even have to scroll. You see this thing called a cursor color picker, and you just pick the color of your cursor that way. I want to change it again actually. I'm gonna do like a light blue. There we go. This beast? Okay, I'm coming. All the meats. Boo. Ugh. Look at open the chest. Got it. Oof. Whoops. But is this Heart Secret? No, this is Rain of Arrows. Rain Rogue. Probably like the only content creator that actually plays Rain nowadays. RC get the best right now, right? The push version is, but the push version is the strongest rogue build. But it plays, it doesn't really play like Heartseeker. It plays something like entirely different, which is why that's not popular. Like you don't see a lot of rogues playing OM or push Heartseeker. I mean, Mythic Heartseeker is pretty good still, but like you have to be pretty well geared to do like most of the like the T4 bloodied content per se. But it feels really fun to play. The Mythic variant. What do I think of DT Rogue? Is it still good enough for piss like Boss of Bilal and all? Yeah, absolutely. You must love Rana Rose. Why you say that? Ow. I know, Butcher. You just won't stop, man. Yeah, it was fine early on. It was fine, like, and then also if you find a bloodied crown of Lucian, I don't care if it's ancient or not, that has a high roll and percent dex, let me know. To boss will, same ordeal. I'm not even look at most of the stuff anymore though. Actually, wait. Nope. Because that's like your go-to Reign of Rose. It's been my go-to for 2 seasons. I've been playing Rogue for what? Yeah, so for 2 seasons. So for about 2 seasons, it's been my go-to. Yeah. And when I say go-to, is like I still play the other builds. Like I played Heartseeker every season since it came out, which was season 4. There are too many builds. Not sure which one. Can you suggest one to do all content? It still kind of comes down to playstyle though. Flurry can do all content. Reign of Rose can do all content. Heartseeker can do all content, but probably requires a bit more gearing. DT can also do all content, but definitely requires specific gearing because of breakpoints. I mean, those would be my 4 recommendations to choose from. At that point, it's just your play style. Like, what do you think you actually enjoy actually playing? Because that makes a big difference. Guessing this one also has a Reign of Arrows. Don't miss the world boss. Okay. When is it? But yeah, King Titan. A big reason why I like Reign of Arrows is because well, 2 reasons. One, it's like Rogue's truly only like truly range build. I mean, you can kind of put Heartseeker in the same category, but it's kind of weird because you're flurrying in the air. So I would say Reign is like a true ranged because you kind of have to stay ranged or be away, pretty distant or whatever. and it also looks and sounds like it does stuff. Like the idea that rain is covering the entire screen, like the sound effects, the visual, all that like looks really cool as a build. So like when I'm playing the build, it looks complete. It looks like it's what's it should be doing and stuff. So it's satisfying. It's visually satisfying, audibly satisfying. And it's also like Rogue's second strongest build. So it's actually, you know, pretty strong for Rogue, that is. So yeah, kind of fits all the criteria of what I like in the build mostly. Comedy, what's happening? Not doing much, just bossing, hoping for some mythics. Primarily a Starless Skies. That's the one that loses me right now. What time is the world boss? % maximum life. Does he know that they added blood soak to make T7? You can't get bloodstain anymore after you do. Oh no, you can. I think you still can. I guess that like all every keys become T7 keys after you hit 100. So you can't get a key that isn't T7 at that point. So if a character can't do T7, then your character's bricked, basically. But you can still get more keys. It's just that every key, every Bloodsoul key, or sigil, sorry, is just gonna be T7 basically, automatically. All right, Butcher. Any idea if they're fixing that? I'm sure they will, but I mean, if you don't want to wait, making a new character is probably the best way to go. Oh, nice. I got a bloody beast full of beats. I'll take that. With the right stuff on it, that is, this time. But that's the one I dropped, actually. Oh, wait, a 4GA ring? Not that it's gonna roll anything good on it, but I just the fact that it's there. Wait, where is it again? I swear I thought I saw it drop. I didn't pick it up, did I? I did. Okay, this was. Oh, this actually kind of rolled pretty well, actually. Okay. So hold on to that. Worth. Keep in mind, to jump tiers from 5 to 7. Who's the seniors who thought of that? Probably the same people who were, probably the same higher ups who probably thought, oh well, if you just want to do T7 easily, just roll a paladin. Oh, you don't have a paladin? Buy the expansion. Those geniuses. Marketing ploy. Sadly enough, I'm only halfway joking when I'm saying that. Like there's there's probably some truth, some real truth to that. Man, I'll open up after seeing that 4GA. Only just because I rarely ever see a 4GA item, so like wait a minute. Oh. Is it throwing money to these people? Corporations, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I like it, but like you have to also understand what a corporation is. Corporation has one. Corporation exists to do one thing, and that is to make money. That's it. It's not. It doesn't exist to care about people's feelings. It doesn't exist to make good product. It exists to literally create and make money. That's it. And so, in order for a corporation to run like a true corporation, then you have to, put people in place to make the corporation thrive in what it's supposed to do, which is legit just make money. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with the concept of that being a priority, but I'm just saying that's just exactly what it is. Right? So yes, money is everything to those people, to the execs, the guys in suits and the higher up. It literally is all about the money. It's not about anything else. They don't care about the legacy. They don't care about whatever. It's whatever makes the most money and makes their shareholders happy. That's why I think, like in my opinion, I think when we don't like something, I think as a collective, we have a much more power than we think we do. Because we can literally just hit them where it hurts, which is, well, money. You don't like something, don't buy it. Like the only reason why free to play exists the way it is because too many people. I mean, granted, you have your whales that do buy a lot of things. Don't get me wrong, but if enough people got upset about more the monetization practices in some of the free to play games, then they would definitely change how they do it. Because if you're like, you know what, I'm not spending any money, well then that at that point becomes a problem. You could sit there and say all the things you want about the game. You could say that the classes suck and the builds don't do whatever. You can be all mad about whatever. They could care less. But the moment you say I'm not spending money, oh, now they care. Now they care. Now you got their attention. And you need enough people to do the same thing, so therefore they can make changes. You can only make changes if it affects their pocketbook. That's it. Am I allowed to ask someone trade specific things in chat? Yeah, you can. Only thing I won't allow is like real money trading in my chat, in a sense. So like, outside of that, I don't care. Fat. I have trade a pair of Beast Fall boost with GA on Ultimate CDR. I don't think I kept. I'm actually wearing one right now, but I can't trade it to you because I've already masterworked it and all that stuff. But 'I totally just stood right there. Just took the hit. Oh, Belial. All right, Butcher, chill. I gotta get Belial this fine, and that's what it takes. %. He's just teaching the West how to make games, and that's sad. Actually, well, I mean, there has been some bangers and from the East in the recent for sure. Like they're really like kind of, you know, it's refreshing like what they've been doing to gaming in the recent. Where Winds Meet is like so good, and also some of the other like Wukong games that's also come over. Belial again. We're Boston 5. All right, thank you. Green tile. I got like 3 boss keys left. I've been doing so many of them. Like in the recent. What's my salvage match look like, actually? I doubt I'm gonna really be rolling much of anything for a while. I mean, I got mostly what I want, so do I really need to be trying to get a bunch of Forgotten Souls right now?
It is done.
Amulet collection.
See some steel you need? I'll keep my forge hot. Return soon.
I guess we can just go ahead and head. Well, I was gonna say go ahead and head over to the world boss, but I'm gonna go see if this Whisper boss and PvP is there. Quick. It is. Come here. But yeah, I'm gonna be looking at some stuff for Crimson Desert though. Tomorrow. King Titan. I was trying to do it today, but I got like really busy. But I'm gonna start looking at some stuff tomorrow. Danger. What's up? I got plenty of keys. I forgot I had a whole whole stash of them still. What you been up to? Have you been playing at all this season, or are you just chilling until expansion?
Fashion this into something exquisite.
So just one grand diamond I can only do. Let's actually get some more. Hmm. $1,000. Oh, they're gonna be do to 999, I guess. Right. Which then should allow me to do. Still don't have enough. The 2 grand emeralds though.
You lose a little fast to dust.
One more, okay. But then season where all the new things are bug and not work and the builds are identical to last season. Good question. Have you joined the rogues? Oh wait, I need to get to the world boss real quick. Or 999, or am I wrong? No, you're right. I was converting mats, and I can only do like 999 at a time. So I guess it happened to be your name too. Yeah. I would not say join the rogues. At this point, man, like it really is just chilling until until the expansion. But I do feel the obligation to making sure that like I play test the stuff that I write every season, so I at least make attempts at the setup, whether it is good or bad, and then I kind of just leave it alone after that. But the Chaser Rogues, no. Nope. But the Crown of Lucian does kind of, the Crown of Lucian and Godslayer's Crown does, does do something slightly different. Like with Crown of Lucian, I can no longer use that on regular Heartseeker anymore because the resource drain is too much, even with Starless and everything. You just can't sustain it at that point. But you can with the push version, but not the regular version anymore. So that makes us have to use a different helm. So like stuff like that, like nothing that like massively changes the build or anything, but like the helm choice has to be a little bit different. Push random arrows can also no longer do it without Starless guys anymore, because again, Crown of Lucian, resource drain thing. So that's that's really the tribute of Ascendance. Finally, I got an Ascendance tribute.
Thank you.
Did you get anything, Raiden? 14% more damage, insane. It's the resource drain that's the problem. So it's like that's kind of the issue. It's really not because it's still considered the best helm. How do you manage the resources and certain variations you no longer can? Like I had to literally shelf the Invigorating Strike build because you just can't sustain the resources and trying to do it without it. Oh, I'll put it this way. Here's the thing too, Danger. So because Rogue Shadow Clone is all based off of resetting Shadow Clone, you need to be able to spend resources as fast as you can to reset Shadow Clone as much as you can. So it's not necessarily about the helm's damage increase. It's really about making sure you can reset Clone as fast as possible for what appears to be like almost 150 times or no, actually it appears to be like 4 or 5 times more damage. Well, actually more than that. It's like a 10x. Every time you reset Shadow Clone, that one hit is like 10x more damage. So if you can't use Crown of Lucian, that means you can't spend your resources as much, but because you can't sustain it, and that ends up hurting your Shadow Clone reset. So like it's very like surgical and in terms of what it actually affects, but it does in a sense. Is it enough that like the build is different? No, absolutely not. But it does affect which helm you wear. So I need your promise you'll make me a personalized Shank come expansion. I hope I'm hoping to bring that back. It's morphin' time. What's going on, man? It was such a fun build. Like, doing it with Godslayer is actually really cool. Godslayer really helps a lot because it pulls everything to you. So that's actually really cool. But not being able to reset your Shadow Clone enough for like the big deep bug damage or whatever really kind of hurts the setup, especially with the bloody sigils and stuff. So I kind of had to shelf it. Hopefully I'll be able to bring it back via XP or expansion. Same here, actually, Raven. Yeah, I think I might need to take a break from D4 and having a good time on Rogue as your favorite class. Well, I guess the thing is that like, why don't you transition to another build, like Rain or DT? Unless you don't like either one of those. But honestly, to be honest with you, you probably have like the right idea, because I mean, expansion's around the corner. Like there's no reason to drag out something that you might not enjoy. Yeah. Oh, that was actually a lot of Obdicite. That's like 1,000 for that one goblin. Is that intentional? Is it just one goblin or? Yeah, that's a lot. Holy hell, that's a lot. Yeah, like, but then it's never been that high before. If you weren't testing things out for real to play casually, would I play this season? Nah, probably not. There are other games in my backlog that I kind of either want to play or try, or whatever. So I probably wouldn't have bothered with D4 this season. I wouldn't even like boot up D4 this season if it wasn't for the creator side and build writing and stuff like that. To be 100% honest. Like if I wasn't a creator, I wouldn't have played this season. But it totally waited to the expansion. This isn't to say that I'm not having any fun at all. I guess would have just, like taken a break, because I know that I have a lot of work to do with preparing for guides and stuff for the expansion, and then the actual expansion itself. That's all. For me, is that I don't really like playing Pulverize, and that's the only way to push. Fair. I don't think there's many rogues that don't really like their push build either. I don't really know about Sork or a Barb if they like their push build. The butcher thing lasted 30 minutes. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I think the thing is that I feel like that, like when I look at it now, I don't know if that was really a smart idea in the grand thing of the thing, like the grand scheme of things. Because when you think about the butcher, right, he's iconic, right? The whole fresh meat thing, especially when he first said it and D1 or whatever, like that was iconic then, right? So like him saying it over and over and over and over and over for an entire season, even if it is a short season, you kind of just like make that iconic statement like numb. So from here on out, I don't care, new expansion, whatever. I don't want to hear him say fresh meat ever again, ever. I don't even care if it's just Lair Boss or whatever. Don't care. I feel like that novelty is like ruined. But oh well. They're building up for the stale meat. Just get the voice DLC where he says fresh feet instead. Yeah, I mean, man, I don't know.
I'll keep my forge hot. Return soon.
Oh, did you key in another one or no?
See some steel you need. What's still
Splendor, gold, material, gold, splendor. You're supposed to be random, like, oh shit, but now it's like every second fresh meat. Pretty much. That's such an awful ring. I mean, I decided I didn't count, but like, I'm pretty sure it's like probably 8,000, 9,000, somewhere around that range. Yeah, let me see how much I actually have. I didn't have much to begin with, so yeah, okay, 8,000. I have 8,000 now. I was really low before. I'm down for another if you want to run another one.
solid brick here.
Wow, is that lower than the other one I had? It was, okay. So why don't I even bother with this one then?
Gave my hammer. My hammer
I'm just
saved
bad.
me on your return.
I thought you had more treasure breach ones. Cause you linked like 5 of them in chat. I'm assuming that was the same one. I thought you just happened to craft a bunch and then you had like 5 treasure breaches or whatever. Because it seemed like you linked like a bunch of them. Sure, average 4 GA drug can't give you more average if it wanted to. So like, what are you excited about, Danger, going into the expansion? I can't explore and get new stuff. I get bored. I feel you. Bitch is the most hype system game like. Fair. Okay. Were you hyped for the first expansion? When the first expansion came out? Or nah? I mean, not like it much happened in the first expansion, really. It was definitely it's funny because like I won't say I hyped it up, but I did feel like it was gonna be really good. Just because Blizzard usually has a history of like the first expansion kind of fixing the game, like a mediocre game beforehand. Like every action RPG that Blizzard has put out has had a mediocre launch or a bad launch. And then the expansion always fixes it, or the second expansion makes it like legendary, aka D2. So I was like, oh, okay, well, cool. Well, since, looking at the track record, right? The first expansion should, you know, fix things or, be the thing. And it kind of wasn't. It was still pretty mediocre. More bosses? Yeah, I guess. So I had to kind of eat my words, which is, which is fine. So I guess now I'm going into this expansion being, somewhat subdued, I guess. Although it did take 2 expansions for D2 to become legendary. So maybe this is it for D4, I don't know, but I'm seeing a lot of like D3 elements being introduced, and that kind of makes me not as like hyped about it, I guess. But I am looking forward to Solar Self-Found though. For like as a content creator, that will actually give me more playtime. Fun discovering the next best thing and being like, I did this is where it's at. I think one of the bigger feelings for me has been bringing back Heartseeker. I guess when I put out Heartseeker initially in season 4, I was one of the first ones to kind of like do like a major build guy out of it initially. But Boa was like ahead of everyone else in terms of like the theory craft. But there were several of us that were kind of like, working on something. So season 4 was massive for Heartseeker, but season 5 was more of a people kind of abandoned it and didn't think it was going to like do much or whatever. So when I quote unquote brought it back, or found a way to bring it back, I guess in a sense, like it made so many people happy at the time. So I was credited for that, and that was huge. Yeah, stuff like that was like, has been really cool. And even season 6 with Ranaveros, like putting that on the map. When it wasn't there initially. Remember asking Woody about basic builds in season 0? Yeah, there was just there just wasn't enough support behind it, really. How many fresh meats have you had in one boss fight? I tuned it out now, so I don't even know anymore. And I was playing Heartseeker with Shaco season 3. Yeah, I miss old school rapid fire so much, man. When they introduced the Lob Man, like that really killed it for me. Oh, Raven's not here. Oh, there he is. TB was your first other kill. Start from the bottom and still. I killed Lilith with rapid fire. I still miss that fight, man. That fight was like it was frustratingly fun. I'll put it that way. Frustrating because like there were some bugs, and sometimes like if you have like a good start or whatever, or, you know, you have like a good run going, and then like you run into one of the bugs or whatever, you get a little frustrated or whatever like that. But mechanically, it was satisfying to learn and do. At least I thought so. Is Heartseeker able to level as quick as Aura and Paladin or a Paladin? Probably not. It's not slow by any means, but it's not Paladin. In fact, I actually leveled with Heartseeker this season. The one thing I will say about like Heartseeker leveling is that it feels like an end-game build the moment that you can like spec into combo points. Like the moment that you hit like level 15 or whatever, like it really feels like an end-game build already in terms of feel. Not like I'm not saying like trillion, like billions of damage or like that, but in terms of how the build feels to play. Like if someone didn't know what level you were, they would think that you were playing an end-game build just because of what it looks like. So it's a lot of fun very early on. It's not a slog. It's nice to play then. I wouldn't say that. I mean, so if you're trying to compare a regular class to a DLC class, you know, a DLC in which you have to pay money for, like, I don't know how old you are, but that's like kind of saying, you know, like let's say back in the day, like in the 90s, and being like, you know, is this player as good as Michael Jordan? And the answer is probably like, well, no, that's Michael Jordan. All right, well, how about this player? Is this player good? No, like it's Michael Jordan. Like, no, the answer is no. Doesn't mean the player is bad. Doesn't mean like there aren't good players in the 90s in NBA, right? So, okay, you get it. So yeah, ain't like they weren't really good players, right? Like they were really good players. Hakeem Olajuwon, Kobe, obviously. Like, you know, like you had really good players. Karl Malone. I mean, Allen Iverson. You had some ballers, but like, are they as good as Michael Jordan? No. You know what I'm saying? So like, it wouldn't be bad if you choose to like, you know, favor a different player than Jordan. It just means that it's not they're just not Jordan. So the answer is going to always be, well, it's not Jordan, but it's not. They aren't bad, right? So does that make sense? So that's kind of where Heartseeker is. Like Heartseeker is good. Like it's good. It's just not Jordan. It's just not Jordan. Actually, right now, I think Evade Spiritborn is probably the quickest leveling right now, I think, in my opinion. But also, Spiritborn is DLC. It's just the first DLC. So it's technically still DLC. Jordan, you know, greater than LeBron. I think LeBron was a greater overall player, like a greater all-around player. In terms of, like, if you had to be, like, who was the best player at doing everything, I would put LeBron over Jordan. But if you just go for best player of all time, as in terms of like impact, then or skill and impact, I will have to go Jordan. So like it does kind of depend. That's a whole different debate though. You're just leaving those in the ground, yeah. Yeah. You get so much gear, man, that like trying to collect all the crap on the ground is just slows you down. In fact, I really should stop picking up a lot of this stuff, really. I have more than enough like Forgotten Souls at the moment. I don't think I'm gonna be creating new builds or anything in the recent, so like I don't even know why I'm still picking up stuff. Maybe I'm just like so used to doing it. You miss Luca? Oh, cause you're Dallas fan. The greatest at traveling thing. I mean, he's playing the game. I mean, he's playing the game as in like, you know, he's doing the, you know, he's playing the game, playing the game. I don't think he really wants to do that either, but like, unfortunately, that's what get calls. Thank you, James Harden, for exploiting the crap out of that and like letting people know, hey, you can do all this foul baiting and all, you know, whatever. But to be honest with you, though, like, don't get me wrong, he does do it, and it's horrible watching him do it. But like, if you took that away, Braun will still be a very good player. It's not like he's only good because he foul baits. You see what I'm saying? I think that's the thing, the difference people kind of don't really get, right? Whereas like, sure, if he doesn't flop, but if he flops, call him out. Like, pick on him, do memes, whatever. Do all that because it's bad. It really is. But people pretending that he's not a good player because he does it is just like straight up cap. And realistically speaking, his longevity is something that is extremely difficult to accomplish in period. Like, the fact that he's still playing in the game and he's still kind of relevant. Like, he's not like carrying teams anymore, obviously, like he used to, but he's still somewhat relevant after the many years he's been in the NBA. It's actually quite an outstanding accomplishment. Like being able to take care of your body and still be able to play as long as he has is another, like, that's so underrated, man. Our only hopes are bugs. Curry, yeah, pretty much. Yes. The Timbaland song. Oh, the Timbaland song. Timbaland song. Gotcha. Some of the numbers he's putting up right now, I bet, than when he was in his prime. Yeah. I think we gotta remember that, like, it is the internet, and there's a lot of like hyperbole, and it's kind of fun to bandwagon, right? Even if it is like highly exaggerated at times. Yep, there you go, Danger. Yep. Crazy that he's in that shape after all. Yeah, I know, right? Like, I'm 41 and I feel like I'm dying every day. And dude, and LeBron is still dunking on people right now at my age. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I feel like getting up out of bed is like a challenge for me on a daily basis. And again, like, dude is still like, you know, brawling on the court, I guess. But I do have more of a respect for it because I used to ball a lot back in the day. Like, I was very much a basketball, like, savant when I was younger. I just didn't have the height, so eventually I kind of grew out of being able to continue the path or whatever. I don't say grew out of it, but like just didn't grow tall enough, but that way. Like, I was entering high school at 5 foot, and that was it made it very difficult for me to continue. Like, I was no Muggsy Bogues or Spud Webb or Jerry Stackhouse, where like those guys who were like short really short and still kind of made it. Like those were exceptional talents. I wasn't that good to make up for my height. But I do think that if I was like 4 or 5 inches taller at the time, that I probably could have played college ball. You've been playing 100 plus games for yeah. All roads lead to D4. Pretty much. Pretty much. Gonna sell, okay. Oh, bloodied. Same boat. I'm 5'10", didn't cut it yet. I think I'm like 5'8" and a half. I think 5'8", yeah, 5'8" and a half roughly. And like I didn't even hit 5'8" until I was like towards the end of my senior year, somewhere around that range, maybe. Actually, not even that. I think it was college. I think I hit the height, but until then, I was always like, I was undersized and I was short. Terrible combo. Now, if I was to play, if I was playing during like the current era where I can like, you know, just play on the outside like Steph Curry did, where basically is like, you know, they have to be athletic, nor tall, nor really have like a, you know, a stature to bully people, you know, then maybe I could have. No, actually, no. Let me rephrase that. I really wasn't a great shooter. I was like a if I had to kind of tell you what my play style was like or how I played basketball, I was like a John Morant a lot. Like that's probably the closest way to kind of to like show my game. Just without the antics, obviously, that comes with John Morant. I really wasn't much of a shooter, but I was not afraid to sit there and like, you know, drive to the hole every basket. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care like what you look like. I don't care. Just like 10 people like below the basket. Don't care. Driving straight to the hole. I was not scared. Steph is still like 6'2", 6'3", yeah. I'm English, 6'1", play center back in football and soccer. I wasn't even an action RPG or before Diablo 4. I wasn't in it. So the thing is that I wasn't an action RPG or before Diablo 3. Like I came into did you go to the wrong one? I don't know. I'm not even paying attention myself. Yeah, I didn't. My first action RPG. I played many, you know, JRPGs. You know, like the Japanese RPGs or whatever, like the turn-based games. I played plenty of those. But action RPGs though, first one was Diablo 3. Well, I would say Gauntlet. If you want to call Gauntlet Legends an action RPG, probably the first. Gauntlet. But yeah, outside of that, it was D3 was like my first. So when I got into it, everybody was like, you know, you just assume I played D2 beforehand. I'm like, no, never touched D2 beforehand. I was a RTS gamer for a while, fighting game, FGC RTS gamer. Gauntlet Legends was so good, man. Mine was D3 when I was 12. I played about 200, 300 hours of D3. Only really played Diablo. PoE2 every now and then. Hot's Legend. Yeah, well, yeah. Here's the story. Have I played Battle for Middle Earth 2? I have not. So RTSs mainly were like Blizzard RTSs. I was a Blizzard gamer for a while, like StarCraft, Root War, StarCraft 2, Warcraft 3, Warcraft 3: The Frozen Throne. Like those are the RTSs I stuck to. There were some that I did try, like Total War, which is actually kind of fun. And what was Warhammer was fun. But there was just something about Warcraft and StarCraft that Blizzard did that just made RTS feel so good to play. Well, the way we were here at D4 is a remaster of D3. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Job's done. I mean, Warlock has quite a few Demon Hunter skills, by the way. I don't know if anyone picked up on it, but the Warlock has like three, almost 4 Demon Hunter skills in his kit from D3. Oh wait, I'm still dead. It says I'm revived, but I'm still dead. Okay, now it says revive. That's weird. Alright. We're good. I got an home room finally. Te quiero, somebody. That's a boss wall. Yeah. Warlock looks cool. It does, but the funny thing about it is that danger is that, like, if you think about the way the class is designed, like, unless the gameplay changes up a bit in the expansion, like literally over 75% of the Warlock's kit will not be played. Because who's gonna really be sitting there trying to like summon things and then combo things and then, you know, go to the store, grab a 7-Up to feed your monsters to then deal more damage. Like no one's doing that for the trash mobs you just approached. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah. So I think the kit is really, really cool. I just don't think the gameplay supports the kit. And that's the way that it is for a lot of the classes. Like, some skills are actually really not that bad. Some. But the gameplay just doesn't support, you know, running, you know, some builds or, you know, or whatnot. So that's kind of why I'm, even though they didn't talk about it, I am kind of hoping for like a gameplay shakeup. A little bit. Like, slow it down a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Enough to where other playstyles and skills actually, you know, can actually matter. Because right now it just doesn't. A lot of them don't. Yeah, it just doesn't. Spam that and GG, and more important players don't support more than one button, and that's the thing. It's an expansion from D4, and there's another expansion. Yeah, there's another expansion coming next month, April 28th. That's the thing. It's funny to me, Danger, because the people that really just only want to do one button spam builds are also the same ones that also complain about there's nothing to do, and that the class is boring. That there's no challenge. There's no build diversity, right? I'm not saying that all these things aren't true. I'm just saying that it's hard to give these type of players what they are looking for while only pushing one button at the same. And they don't see the irony in that. So like as a dev, if I'm reading Reddit comments or reading, social media comments about stuff, I'm pulling my hair out and thinking, man, like, well, hey, here's a cool build that requires 2 buttons, and then like the player base freaks out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, what do you do? Where you kill Lilith for the season pass thing. She's Echo of Hatred. So she's got the little golden dome right here next to Kiovashad. Right here. Capstone, Echo of Hatred. So the Nevesk waypoint into the Echo of Hatred. They forget playing the game is part of the fun. Well, I mean, just I mean, you're not wrong. Well, it's also the same thing. I think I talked about this in the whole leaderboard stuff and whatnot. Like even when Tower does become better at overtime at some points, right? I'm still not interested in Tower now. Like I find it very hard to take or to look at to take Tower or leaderboards in the serious manner because of macros. Macros being the I'm gonna say number one issue, but like I mean there's like RMT and stuff like that. There are bigger issues. But the idea of someone saying that, hey, my build and my thing, I did a better job than you did while macroing 4 of your 6 buttons just doesn't really sit right with me. It's like, but half the game played itself, but you're taunting about how good your clear is. It's like, what's the point of having a leaderboard to see who's better or who's doing what better if you don't even play your whole build yourself? And unfortunately, the majority of the players on like the leaderboards are, there's heavy macro usage, and that's just I mean you get weapon of Slick Green. I would love to know how Rob don't get burnt out. Oh no, he does. But I mean, when there's money involved, you have a different motivator, right? Like if you're making enough money to sustain yourself, right? Then yeah, the burnout is there, but it's also making money, and it's also like the way that it's making you a good living for himself right now. So yeah, suddenly playing divorce. That's not that right. Exactly. Like this isn't to say that like I don't feel bad for those who like don't. Who experienced burnout. Because I mean, there was a time frame where I did too as well. But also, keep in mind, I don't make nearly. I never made nearly as much as Rob and some of the other guys. Lucian, nah. I need the bloodied % dex or whatever. % core stat or whatever it rose. But I'll tell you this much though, like if I was making that kind of money, I definitely would stream a bit more. Because it's You know, I'll find something to do. I'll level a lot more. I will try some hardcore. Let's see if I can live before my first disconnect happens type runs. Knowing how bad my connections are, like I'll make content out of how bad my connection is. I will give you plenty to do. I will do plenty. Different motivator, man. I like to have Woody's range. At least he gets variety of other games. Rob not as much. That's because Rob doesn't make money. It doesn't make so Rob. You have to understand. Rob is about efficiency. Like when he came out of his mom's womb, he calculated the best way to come out of the womb in the most efficient manner that required the least amount of time to get out. Okay? He was already planning that. He started that when he was a baby. Okay? He lives for efficiency. 100%. If it's not efficient, or if it doesn't make the most bang for the buck, he's just not gonna do it. So when you think about it that way, when you think about Rob's brand and like who Rob really is, playing other games is just not efficient. In terms of like money and whatnot, it's just not. I'm sure he does want to play other games. Don't get me wrong, but when it comes to his view count and like his making less money, taking a hit because you're playing other games, it's just not efficient. He's just it just isn't. He's tried like PoE 2 for a little bit, like his audience wasn't really the biggest fan of it, but he really wanted to try. But like you start losing that much money, you're just like, yeah, not worth. So the doctor did his Paragon 9 months ahead of the season. Nah, but like people like Woody, he for him, he will play what he, sometimes like what he wants to, and he's not really necessarily all about whether or not it's a big hit to his money or not, his income or whatever. Like he'll take the hit just to play other stuff. Not everybody would do that. I will say, like, I'm wondering what's going on with Rax though. Like I feel like I don't know. I'm not seeing like watching Rax, and like I love Rax to death. Don't get me wrong. So this is not like an insult or anything like that. But like watching Rax now, kind of feels a little bit like he's like soulless. Like he's like not there. Like I remember used to chilling out in Rax's stream all the time years ago, just for the vibes. But I feel recently like it's just like it's almost like his soul has left his body. Like he's just not the same guy himself. He's not himself anymore, which is sad to see. Oh wait, did I just override the other key? Is the other thing still there? I don't know. A port. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I forgot. Okay, sorry, it's not in anymore. Time to move on. Honestly, I think. It's just so like I can't. Everybody's brand is different, right? What they stream for and like how they make their money and if money is a thing for them or is it just passion or whatnot. But like I do kind of think that the current state of action RPGs, which is where he built his brand on, right? Mostly Diablo, but of course you know how he feels about that, right? So like, but action RPGs is kind of where he's like built his brand on in general. I don't really think he's really happy with any of them. like he used to be. Like the whole like, you know, leveling, being competitive, all stuff that he loved about action RPGs is just not, hasn't really been like the thing. And so like as a content creator, like sometimes you think, okay, cool, when, you know, newer action RPGs release and stuff, you know, I'm gonna have many, you know, lots of content to create, and you know, I'm gonna continue to loop for, you know, on and on. But the funny thing about it is that I felt like Rax was more vibrant when he was just playing D3 than when he was rotating out between 3 or 4 different action RPGs in which he no longer really has a passion for anymore. Which is funny because like when you're just playing Diablo 3 and your audience is just Diablo 3, he was having a better time. Even if he was like upset every time he was, you know, pushing, and he was mean Rax when he was pushing, which or, you know, angry Rax. But he still seemed like he was having a better time enjoying himself when it was just D3 than the rotation of, you know, 4 different action RPGs. So I don't know. I personally would love to see him like pivot to other things. Still streaming, because I mean, I still think he can pull the vibes. Like when he's like, you know, good mood Rax, he has the vibes, right? I'd love to see him do like maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Get back into first-person shooters or something. I don't know. I missed Darth Thunder on Lisa D4. So, I guess Darth is a different story, right? Like, he never thought he would blow up to be as influential as he has become. So, a lot of things, you know, decisions and all that stuff, you know, kind of came at like, you know, at him getting big really quickly when he's been, you know, consecrating for a while in Diablo Immortal and some other stuff when he was like, you know, a bit like a lot smaller. But yeah, having that massive success in the early D4 days, you know, definitely makes you pivot how you continue your content because you weren't expecting to be that big or be in the forefront of stuff. So, which requires a different approach for sure. So I am really happy for DM to be able to do that. But you can also kind of see some of the, I'm gonna say burnout, but like also some of the like, you know, I wish I could be doing other things and still be able to support myself type ordeal stuff. And that part is hard. That part is hard. People kind of just think, oh, you just hit play on stream and, you know, you play a game, talk, make a bunch of money, you know. It's a lot harder to sustain than people think it is. And it's extremely taxing mentally. Like, it is extremely taxing mentally, man. Like, the mental fortitude, man. People forget streaming is entertaining, and I can sit down playing the games, which is why I'd be a good streamer as it is in a race. Oh man, the analogy. The fact that like I started laughing before I finished like reading out loud what you said is like, yeah. That's horrible. Although I guarantee you probably can make some content out of playing Incinerate Sword and be entertaining that way though. So just saying.
Greetings. How shall I guide my hammer?
Oh, look at this guy. Blorp. Sounds like snail to me. That is snail, I'm
Hammer
sure.
sings on your return.
You just blast music. But I guess blast music and vibe. Yeah, I had to quickly realize that like when I first started streaming that I couldn't do what the others were doing. It's very common for people to like look at other like when they first start streaming, you look at what the good streamers do, like what the popular streamers do. Well, this is okay. There's a difference between being a good streamer and a popular streamer. Very different things, right? But like I would watch some of the people that I looked up to that were big. I put it that way, and then I had to quickly realize that that doesn't work. Because like once you're big and you make it, like you at that point what you do with your or how you present your stream doesn't even matter anymore. Like you can get up and have your camera like sitting on the bed half made, with like the sheets half off, a bunch of stains in your mattress, lighting completely off, and barely even see the streamer on camera. And like the microphone is like in the next room or whatever, and people will be like pog in your chat because you're popular at that point. Right? So like they don't care anymore at that point. They're there to just to be there, right? If you're just starting off, you can't do that. That was oddly specific. I won't name the person I'm talking about because I did get a lot of what I just said from one particular streamer that I know who literally does that, but who is, very popular. But I'm gonna leave it at that. But yes. Ow, by the way. I got stabbed like 7 times by the sword. And everything on the internet is area. If you take a break, you die for the algorithm. Yep. I feel like I think that kind of almost what happened, or I guess what happened to me in a sense, where like, but I'm actually kind of cool with it. I didn't die by any means per se, but like or completely fall off. But once Twitch ad revenue started dropping off like drastically for small to mid-sized streamers, it really killed the idea of streaming being like my second job in a sense where I can support myself by working my main job and streaming, right? But now that the advertisers kind of pull out from Twitch because of course they're not making as much money from Twitch, ads on Twitch or whatever, like it really hurt a lot. So I've gone for a while, yeah. So I'll give you an example of what I mean by this. So like, well, I'm not trying to make a bunch of money off of streaming by any means, but there was a time frame where it was paying some of the bills, not all but some, right? So I was able to teach and I was able to stream and that was a good loop or whatever. But like on a season launch usually I might average around like 100, like 80 to 100 viewers, like concurrent viewers, right? And I was streaming for about 20 hours, and in that 20-hour time frame, my ad revenue used to be like maybe, I don't know, $120, $130 for that 20-hour stream, which when you think about it per hour is kind of bad when you think about it, but for a streamer, that's actually really good for like a small streamer, a smaller type streamer, right? Nowadays, I stream for that same amount, and my ad revenue is like $16 for like an 18-hour stream. No lie. Like the drop off has been incredibly insane for ad revenue. And like I haven't changed how much ads I run. I still only run like 4 minutes an hour, which is low compared to a lot. stuff like that. So I didn't change that or anything like that, but like it dropped off significantly. So like, don't get me wrong, I like streaming, I love chatting with you guys, but like $16 for 18 hours does not pay the bills. Okay, it just doesn't. You know what I'm saying? And because I put myself in the position for it to be the second job, dropping that much in income for literally nothing happening, doing nothing different, nothing happened. I didn't have less viewers. I didn't have people who hated to do what I was doing. Nothing different happened on my end or their end. It's just Twitch pulled back a lot on their ad revenue, and it really hurt a lot of medium to small streamers. So that's partially the reason why you don't see me streaming as much, because I literally cannot afford it like I used to. Before I could take the hit a little bit and it's like, okay, I can stream, have fun and make a little bit of money doing it. Now it's like, it's literally just for fun. Like this stream right now, I might make $6, maybe $4, maybe $5 or like that. Maybe in ad revenue, maybe. And that's a big if. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's hard. It's hard to justify it now versus then. So for me, it's kind of like, well, how do I pivot and not like, you know, because now I got to make up that money, because I was counting on it a little bit. So now I got to make up what I don't make anymore. So I have to do other jobs, other gig jobs in the time frame that I normally would stream. That's why you haven't seen me as much. Because it's like, okay, well, normally I would just stream to kind of make up for, you know, like the streaming would make up for like the, you know, maybe 30% of my income. Now I don't have that anymore. And it's like, oh, well, you know, yeah, now I have to work, you know, another gig job as well. So, all you streamers, that's a shame. Yeah, it's rough though. I won't say, I mean, it's not all the Twitch's fault. Like as much as I want to sit there and like blame Twitch for everything, I do understand that a lot of advertisers have been pulling out because, let's be honest, like they spent a lot of money during the COVID time frame when people were like sitting at home just gaming and, you know, consuming Twitch content. So when you overhire and like you know, buy a ton of ads for that time frame, and people are now back to work and, you know, back to offices in most cases, you know, now, you know, companies are just pulling ads because it's like, well, you know, not as many people watching anymore. So it's kind of like, I'm not making any money with my ads, so I'm pulling them. So part of it really isn't just Twitch's fault, but I think it's upsetting that Twitch didn't tell us. Is the thing. Like I had to find out, looking at my analytics and being like, what the hell happened? You know, so. You said, hope viewers go up for expansion. Well, the problem, honestly, right now, in order to make what I used to make, I would need about 10 times the amount of viewers. So I would need 1,000 viewers to make what I used to make when I was averaging about 100 viewers. Ain't no way that's happening. So, like, the people who are able to sustain this long term right now that didn't get hit nearly as hard are the streamers who were not relying on ad revenue. So like, think of like, you know, your Woody's, your Robs who got sponsorships, long-term sponsorships that, you know, that they are making more money off of. Like long-term sponsorships, you know, quite a few more subscriptions, but basically the sponsorships pay more than anything else for them. So the hit for ad revenue didn't really matter to them as much. But for like, you know, creators my size, ad revenue was like almost everything. So if you see some of your favorite people not stream as much anymore in the past year and a half or whatever, who were like smaller or mid-size, that is why. I think it's healthier to just leave it for the fun of it. Well, that's how it started, Danger. It started that way. It literally started that way. And then I became a Blizzard partner and then started getting flown out to Blizzard and full expense paid trips and, you know, interviewed Wyatt Chain on the spot, you know, randomly for Diablo Immortal during a stream. So part of me felt like maybe I should start taking it more seriously because it just seems like it was falling in my lap in terms of like, not necessarily like the amount of viewers I had, but like just the support for what I was doing. It was like, oh, Blizzard thought it was really cool. You know, I'm actually getting, you know, this kind of attention, looks and stuff like that. So that's when I was like, maybe I should like really take this a bit more seriously, you know, more than just for fun at the time. So. And don't get me wrong, like for a good 2.5 years, it was definitely worth it. Like absolutely worth it. It's just not worth it at all right now. But I love hanging out with you guys. I like the idea of streaming. I just got to make sure I don't become homeless trying to stream. if that makes sense. Where it's kind of like, you know, bill collectors, you know, coming to my house like, look, man, I'm streaming. Like, chill. Do you take bits? Like, I don't know. I heard the Wi-Fi is back under the fridge. Great feature to follow. So your teachers are so underappreciated, man. You guys should be paid way more. My aunt was a college English teacher. She got laid off. Got English for you foreigners. That's nuts. Yeah. Well, that's a whole different conversation for sure. Song is from Montrose, the film, amazing track. Yeah. I gotta get spamming T4 layer keys. Yeah. Oh, Raven's gone. Did he just leave? Clip is doing well. Yeah, but he's also full time though. And he also gets vet benefits. This isn't anything against Clip. I love Clip this a lot, but like his situation is kind of, I won't say sets him up to be able to be 100% full time, but yeah, you know, that makes sense. But what Cliptus is doing right now is absolutely amazing. I'm a huge fan of what Cliptus does. Huge fan. So I say that with much love to Cliptus. He is doing well. But you know, his situation is a little different. You know, in respect, if I try to go full time, I will be homeless. There's just no way I'd be able to. I just can't. Like any other market, there's competition and competitors. But with that being said, like I really love what Cliptus is doing. Yeah, and I'm glad to see him kind of being in the limelight for generalized content because he's such a good dude. Like he's a humble dude, good dude, very helpful. Very few people I would want in the place that he's in currently. But I would rather have in the place that what he's doing. I thought about going back to guide videos. I mean, so the only way that guide videos really do so. The only reason why I haven't done guide videos in the recent isn't because of time per se. It's just because there's nothing new. Like, season 11 and season 12, there was nothing new. Don't get me wrong. Like, season sanctification was really cool, but it didn't bring about new rogue builds. So like, and not only that, but you also got to think about like expansion DLCs and stuff like that. Like making rogue guide videos. And if you're not playing Paladin or the the latest DLC class, you're not getting any clicks naturally because everybody's gonna be wondering what the Paladin is doing. No one cares about what Rogue is doing right now at all. And I don't blame them. I halfway don't care about what Rogue is doing right now. So like I totally get it, right? But yeah, making build videos right now isn't helpful if there's nothing new, and all the attention is on Paladin and Warlock next expansion, right? So now I will say for the expansion, because some there will be some a lot of shakeups and builds in general. So I will go back to making Rogue build guides again, because things will be different. There's new mechanics and all that stuff. But yeah, the past couple of seasons there just wasn't anything to make a guide for that I didn't already have a guide for already. So it was kind of like, yeah. Like the way Heartseeker plays right now, like regular Heartseeker, like Mythic Heartseeker, has been the same since like season 8. Season 9, roughly. So it's like, actually no, let me rephrase that. Yeah, season 9. Or I guess you say season 10 with the set runes. Yeah, but just, yeah, because I did make a Heartseeker video in season 10, I think it was. When I say Heartseeker is back. I'm not trying to undermine you anyway. I always thought you was good. Sure, had to get. Oh no. You're totally not undermining me at all. I always appreciate honest conversation. Always. Being 700 a day and some poker, so take another tomorrow off of work. Nice. Okay. Dude, I picked the shortest stick pick of my class 3 years ago. I remember Witchcraft Heartseeker Slap. It did. But it did play a little differently, which is why in season 10 I made a different video. In season 9 I made the Rain of Arrows video with some of the new changes or whatever, but that hasn't changed. Nothing about Rain of Arrows has changed since season 9, so that's why you haven't seen a new one in 3 seasons from me. How's everyone got so many mythic? I don't know. It is not happening over here. I can guarantee you it's not happening over here. If you find out, you let me know. The secret sauce. Super high for endgame Warlock. Enjoyable or fun running any of your builds. Thank you for kindly for everything that you do. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I don't want to sound like I'm like it's all doom and gloom for me or anything like that. Like that's not what I'm. That's not the angle I'm trying to pitch here. I'm just pretty straight up and honest. Like I don't sugarcoat the happenings, I guess you could say. I feel like if you're going to be any sort of gain or growth, you have to be a generalizer. Yeah, and I kind of pigeonhole myself doing like lots of like rogue content in the beginning. So trying to pivot into doing generalized content is going to be very difficult via YouTube algorithm. Like I will almost need to make a new channel if I'm gonna do generalized content. Jamie, you can't do this full time as I find you a valuable resource in the community. I appreciate you saying that, but I will say, Lord story is like I was thinking about quitting your day job. I will say, now that I'm actually able to go back to teaching full time again, I don't know if I would ever be a content creator full time. Like if I had the opportunity to do it, I don't know if I would. Mainly because there's something about what I do for a living now, like teaching for like now, that I cannot get anywhere else. Don't get me wrong, teaching pays like, you know, well, like shit, basically, right? But just watching students grow up, me being able to mentor them all 4 years because they're in my music courses or whatever all 4 years, watching them grow up and be like the second parent from, you know, away from home, and like, you know, just seeing how you are able to shape them and meld them into like respectable human beings, hopefully past high school or whatever. You don't, I can't get that feeling at, like anywhere else. Like there's nothing about streaming, don't get me wrong, I love you guys or whatever, but there's nothing about streaming that's going to give me that same satisfaction as helping the youth, you know, become respectable adults, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's something I just can't get anywhere else. So I can't see myself ever quitting, you know, that for you know, full-time content creation. I just can't see it. Now, would I love to go back to like streaming like maybe 6 days a week, like I used to while teaching? Yeah, I would love to do that, but I just can't afford it at the moment, unfortunately. Or better yet, get a job on a Bounce Map Blizzard, buff rogue, make all the rogue builds. Get some guys, profit. Just become a tourist and run meta, supply and demand. Well, see, that's also like, I feel like was my first, like one of my mistakes that I knew I was making back at the beginning of D4. Like my YouTube channel could have grown like a lot more during the, you know, first 5 or 6 months of D4 if I chose to play Twisted Blades. Like if I made guides for Twisting Blades, like I would have had considerably more subscribers now. But because I was like bow rogue and I kind of really wanted to play like range rogue or whatnot, and I didn't really, you know, I was trying to get away from doing what everyone else was doing, which was Twisting Blades. You know, I kind of missed out on like many, like I mean, hundreds of thousands of millions of views I could have gotten had I just made just a regular Twisting Blades rogue guide. Or a couple of them. But to be honest though, like I didn't want to make something I didn't enjoy. I didn't really too much care for Twisting Blades at the time. So, yeah. Now, if I was playing something that became meta, and I was making videos on it, that's one thing, but I wouldn't do it purely because it's meta. Right? Like for instance, like Heartseeker in season 4, you know, was practically meta for the majority of what rogues did, except for like extreme pushing, right? But it was meta for like everything else. And so like my Heartseeker video had like, you know, got like over 200,000 views on it, right? Because it was meta. But I actually enjoyed playing it, and that was my favorite build. But I didn't make the video because it was meta. I made it because I actually like playing it, and I'm a bow rogue, and people like bow rogue stuff. Or people expected me to make bow rogue stuff. So, but yeah. I don't regret it though. Like, but I definitely could have made more money back then. I did what I, you know, what I found fun over anything. My main content creator goal is just to get invited by Blizzard and experience the headquarters with other content creators. At some point. At some point you'll get there. Sometimes it's a matter of rotating out the partners, and others is just a matter of you just being big enough for it, right? Because they do definitely rotate people in and out for stuff. But there are people who are just mainstays no matter what. Like they go to everything. Like Woody goes to everything for obvious reasons. Rob goes to everything for obvious reasons, right? But then most others kind of get rotated in and out. Best TV 2 days later. Bestest TV 3 days later. Bestest TV. Yeah, pretty much. You know who was really good at that? Who was really good at milking like the same build with like maybe like a couple of item changes or whatever updates? Lucky Luciano. He was really good at that. He was really good at like, you know, making practically the same build 3 times in the season for views, and like it worked really well. Like I am not mad at him for playing the game at all. Like he did exactly what he's supposed to do as a content creator. But he'll do like, you know, he'll do like a build, and then he'll do like, okay, it's the same, like it's this build, but now it's the final form, right? And then it's like this build but ultimate push version, and then is this build without the bugs, right? And like, I mean, he would milk the crap out of it. But it would be a good video. Like, it's not like slop or anything, but he would really remake the same thing, just with a different flair. And he did well. He did well for doing it. I get mad press to Woody for sitting 14 plus hours in the plane back and forth. Yeah. Yeah. I will have to fly first class if I'm gonna fly that long. Then again, I can't imagine how expensive that is. I wonder if people that would, like, you know, they fly him in, but I wonder if he has to pay for like to upgrade to first class or something, or do they like take care of that too or something?
Can't have been starting from nothing.
Lord Sora, are you going to BlizzCon? Actually, any of you going to BlizzCon? Planning on it? Okay. Yeah. All right. So, I'll get to meet you in person then. Have you ever been to BlizzCon before, or to a BlizzCon? First time? Okay. The veterans will tell you that BlizzCon is not about BlizzCon. That probably sounds like really weird. I mean, not saying you don't care about what's going on like with the events and stuff, but it's really about meeting everybody else and like at like the hotel lobbies and stuff. It's all about the socialization. That's what you remember. You don't remember literally anything that happens in the events. I still remember meeting Rudy for the first time, and like, you know, people were like, you know, we're starstruck, and you know, obviously so was I at the time because it's freaking Rudy Joe, right? and like him being like the most confused normal guy I've ever met, like in person. Because of course he's from the EU, so of course coming to the States and like, you know, having to experience how things are in a state like California, no less, right? It's just hilarious, like just to see his take on things. Yeah, it was great. And I kept trying to tell like there were places that like we were trying to get into or get past, and I'm like, bro, just tell them that you're Rudy Joe so we can like, you know, skip the line and all that stuff, right? Like you're not doing it right in America, son. Okay, you're supposed to use your power. Okay, you're supposed to, you know, use your prestige, you know, so that all the little people around you know that you're freaking Rudy Joe. Okay, and then so we can skip the line and do other stuff. You're doing it wrong. I kid you not, I actually did tell him that though. I told him that once. I think the only person that I haven't met that's like you know, a mainstream creator or whatnot is Rats. Is the only person that he hasn't been to any of those events. Like I know why he hasn't been, and you know, partially because it's really difficult for him to fly. But I would love to, like, I think he's the other person that I think would love to actually meet that I never actually got a chance to meet, or do I think I would ever meet, because he just doesn't really travel like that when he's invited. DM was cool though. DM was really cool to meet. But yeah, you'll have a lot of fun, Sora. It'll be a blast. The people, like the vets, like who is it, Nine Ball and Dread, like those the people you want to hang around to really get a feel of how BlizzCon like actually works is Dreadsight and Nine Ball. There are some others too, but like those are the two I would suggest getting involved, getting in the know with, because they know everything about. I mean, they know everything about BlizzCon, all the spots. They know, like, you know, when the best places to go eat and get, you know, do everything. Echo Hack's in that category too as well. So like, getting involved with those two is always a plus, huge plus. Am I going to try the upcoming Last Puck season? Probably not, to be honest. I'm kind of like on chill mode until the expansion. Before expansion, like not try too hard. Kind of just. So I'm gonna have a lot of work ahead of me when the expansion comes out. So. It's a massive effort from Blizzard to unite introverts across the world. Exactly, man. And there is a thing called post BlizzCon. Post BlizzCon depression. It's a real thing. Like no joke. Like you have so much fun there. Like the people that you will not get to see for like a whole another like year or so, like, and you're going back to your regular work and regular normal life or whatever. Like there is a thing where people like get ask and talk about it in a sense where it's like, man, I really wish I was back. I was back at BlizzCon, man. All I had to do was complain. You got a mythic. Oh, how much complaining did you do? And what was the type of complaining that I need to do? That's what makes it special. It's like BlizzCon. It's the mythic drop. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good analogy, actually. Yeah, great analogy. Oh, scrub. Okay, give me a sec. I'm just trying to finish leveling up my bliss without doing it in T100 because I'm not trying to brick my character. So these aren't necessarily speed runs that, you know, in the 95s, of course, but they're not too slow, whereas unbearable or anything. Is air better than the 3GA God Slayer? I mean, the amount of GAs in the God Slayer doesn't really matter much at all. You just care about the affix. So it can have like 10 GAs and it still would mean the same thing at the end of the day. What makes a God Slayer good is the pull. The pull is so ridiculously good that even if it doesn't have a smaller multiplier than air does, the fact that you can pull so many more enemies and be able to kill something or hit more things or more enemies with the single attack or whatever usually outweighs the damage multiplier from air or the damage difference from between air and God Slayer. So in the mythic version of Fire Seeker, I do put air, but I also mention in the variant that like there are times where God Slayer is just simply better because of its massive pull. But because we do a lot of bossing this season and God Slayer doesn't really kind of help with the bossing part of things usually, that's kind of why I put air. But you can do either or in a sense. Imagine talking passion notes every day. You'd kill me before I get to the third and last stream. Let me scroll up real quick. Let me see what he said. Hey, how did you complain? I need to take notes. Okay, how has everyone got so many mythics? I see everyone with 2. I got 0. I take 1. It sounds like maybe like a C tier complaint. Like you didn't even rage. That was pretty tame complaining. Is that all it took? Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I raced too hard. Maybe that was the reason. I'm only 190 Paragon. I think that was the appropriate range. I feel different if I was stupid. Okay, fair. All right. Well, guys, I am going to take off for the sake of not trying to burn out myself for the season, trying to get the whatchamacallit. So these will be rather short-ish streams. So I can feel like I can do more of them throughout the week, if that makes sense. If I do like a 6-hour stream, I'm not going to want to do it for another couple of days. But a couple of 3 hours here and there, 3.5 hours here and there, it's kind of easier on the body. I don't have to sacrifice as much. But yep, let's find somebody to hit up. Actually, since we were talking about clip this, let's go to clip this. Actually, did I go to clip this last time or what did I rate last time? Oh, it's Pan. I read it last time. Okay, so no, I haven't read a clip this season yet. Well, yeah, we're gonna go to clip. with that being said, I do appreciate you guys chilling here. You guys could be literally anywhere else, any other stream, but you are here, chilling with me, and I do not take that for granted. I may not stream Monday, so you will see me back on Tuesday. We'll still be on search for Starless and hopefully more entertaining conversation to go along with. But in the meantime, enjoy Clip This. And as always, till next time.